Well, real quickly, look at 1 Peter 2:11 with me. Remember, they got this verse, and I love this verse. And Bonnie and I, one of the privileges we have, we speak about a fourth of our time to Word of Life Bible Institutes. And the rest of the time, what we do is we spend a lot of time with the frontline missionaries. In fact, for 4 years, we've had the privilege of addressing the medical missionaries that work in closed countries. There are 65 countries around the world that don't let Christians in. So Christians become medical missionaries. So they go in as doctors and nurses and physician's assistants and all that kind of stuff into these closed countries. Did you know that even North Korea allows in, aid workers? Even, you name any Muslim country, they all allow medical help, aid, people to come in. And so there are 65 closed countries, and there are wonderful Christians, gospel-centric believers going there, and they bring them out of those countries to a neutral country once a year, hundreds of them. And Bonnie and I have had the privilege, what they call us as spiritual mental health care providers. Spiritual mental health care providers. And Bonnie meets with the women and counsels and everything, and I meet with the men, and then I get to challenge them twice a day. And there'll be an auditorium of 600 and 700 and 800 doctors and nurses from 65 closed countries in a neutral country. And they come. This is one of them. Gave their testimony. They're in Myanmar, northern Myanmar. Listen to what they said. In fact, almost everybody in the audience was weeping when they got done. These are missionaries, medical missionaries, in one of the darkest spots on earth. They said 90% of all men in our country over 18 are addicted to opium. They're heroin addicts. 90%. The woman doctor was sharing. She said, do you know what it's like to walk from where we live to the market in front of 90% of the men are looking at you and they're addicts and they can't wait for their next hit, their next fix, and they just live for whatever their desires want. She said, that's the country we live in. That's been in, she said, civil war, the longest civil war on earth. They've been over 40 years fighting, and she said what they're doing in their clinic is constantly patching up the soldiers from both sides that are fighting and killing each other. And she just broke down in tears. And she said, why are we here? And she started reading 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11. She said, I beg you as sojourners and pilgrims. She said, my husband and I decided we could live in America and earn in the high six figures as medical personnel. She was trained, I forget, Bonnie would know, either at Mayo or Johns Hopkins, one of the big places, and had her own practice and had white carpet and had the matching cars and the security system and the gated community and the kids in the high dollar school, the whole life of America's success. And she said, we thought, wait a minute, we're sojourners and pilgrims. And look what we were called to do, verse 9. You're a chosen generation, you're a royal priesthood, you're a holy nation, you're his own special people. You are supposed to proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. And she said, we started praying. We said, Lord, what's the darkest spot on earth? We want to resign our practice and go there as medical missionaries. And she said, look where we are. And she just wept. She said, it's the hardest place I'm aware of on earth to serve Christ. She said, everybody around you is either addicted to opium or they're killing each other. On top of that, they have more demonic temples, Buddhist shrines with demons in them, than any other, per square mile, than any other spot on earth. She said it's the most demonized, the most murderous, the most addicted place of darkness in the world. And she said, as pilgrims and strangers, that's where we're called. Did you know some people get to heaven empty-handed? It's because They're Christians, but they float. And the Lord keeps tipping over their canoe, and other people keep telling them you're going the wrong way, and they get saved, yet so as by fire. I hope none of you want to be like that.